After nearly 40 years of separation, an elephant named Charlie was on the verge of seeing the caretaker who had raised him as a calf. A reunion no one dared to dream could ever happen. What unfolded in the heart of Africa would move even the most hardened soul. "Can you really confirm it's him?" Brian Carter asked, holding an old photograph in his trembling hands. His voice wavered, caught between hope and doubt. The image showed a young elephant with kind, intelligent eyes Ryan had never forgotten. Now, 63, Ryan stood at the edge of Greenfield Wildlife Sanctuary, returning to a place he hadn't seen since his 20s. The photograph had faded with time, but the memories had not. Ryan had been a wildlife researcher back then, fresh out of college and full of idealism. Greenfield was his first post, and it had changed his life. That's where he met Charlie, an orphaned calf who'd lost his mother to poachers. Ryan became his surrogate family, feeding him, playing with him, even singing to him during stormy nights. The bond they shared had been immediate and unshakable, but life moved on. Ryan's contract ended, and Charlie had been relocated to another reserve as part of a conservation effort. For decades, Ryan wondered what became of the calf that had once followed him everywhere. Then, a year ago, a report surfaced. An older elephant matching Charlie's description had returned to Greenfield. Ryan didn't hesitate. He booked a flight, determined to find out if it was truly him. He was greeted at the sanctuary by Emma, a bright-eyed young ranger with a warm smile. "My dad used to work with you," she said. "Max, he always told me stories about you and Charlie, said you two were like brothers." Ryan smiled at the memory. "We were. He was my shadow." As they walked through the sanctuary, Ryan clutched the photograph, recounting old memories. "He used to play hide-and-seek with me. I'd duck behind trees, and no matter how clever I thought I was, he always found me." Emma listened carefully, but her tone was cautious. "It's been a long time, Ryan. Elephants have incredible memories, yes, but 40 years? That's longer than some live." Ryan nodded, the weight of time pressing on him. "I know, but I had to come. Even if he doesn't remember me, I need to see him again." The sanctuary had changed. Gone were the quiet corners and humble huts Ryan once knew. Now it was a sprawling reserve bustling with visitors, school groups, tourists, researchers. But beneath the surface, he still saw traces of the old sanctuary. The feeding pens where he once bottle-fed calves, the trails he'd walked with Charlie. It all came flooding back. Later that afternoon, Ryan reunited with Max, now retired but as sharp as ever. They embraced like old friends, their bond untouched by time. "It's good to see you again," Max said, clapping Ryan on the back. "Can't believe you came back for Charlie." "I had to," Ryan replied. "He was never just an elephant to me." Max grew serious. "We've seen him. He keeps to himself now. He's not the playful calf you knew. Don't get your hopes up too high." But Ryan couldn't help it. His heart clung to the hope that somewhere inside the massive elephant was still that curious, loving calf he'd once cradled and sung to. The next day, the sanctuary hosted an open-field viewing for visitors. Ryan knew Charlie would be there. As the elephants emerged, excitement buzzed through the crowd. Then, Ryan saw him, a towering, majestic figure moving slowly across the plain. His tusks were long, his skin weathered, but something about the way he walked, the calm grace in his step, it was unmistakable. Charlie paused, scanning the crowd. His eyes briefly met Ryan's. A flicker of something passed between them, an invisible thread stretched thin by time, but never broken. Ryan's breath caught. Could it really be him? Emma suggested Ryan move closer once the crowd cleared. When the visitors began to disperse, Ryan carefully approached the edge of the field. He held the photograph close and called out, "Charlie, it's me. Do you remember?" The elephant's ears twitched. He didn't move, but he didn't turn away either. Emma watched from a distance, hopeful but cautious. Then another elephant nudged Charlie gently, and Charlie let out a deep rumble. Slowly, his trunk lifted and swayed in Ryan's direction. It wasn't a clear sign, but it was something. "Take another step," Emma urged quietly. Ryan did, heart thundering in his chest. Suddenly, Charlie's ears flared. He charged. Not aggressively, but fast. In a blur, his trunk wrapped around Ryan's waist and lifted him off the ground. A gasp rippled through the staff. To some, it looked like danger. Ryan dangled, stunned, helpless, staring into Charlie's eyes, searching, pleading. For a terrifying second, time stopped. Then, as gently as a breeze, Charlie set him down. The moment hung in the air, electric and raw. "He knows me," Ryan whispered, voice shaking. Charlie stepped closer, his trunk brushing Ryan's shoulder, then his face. It was hesitant, as though he were rediscovering something long forgotten. Ryan reached out, fingers grazing the elephant's coarse skin. "I never forgot you," he whispered. Charlie lowered his head and pressed it gently against Ryan's chest. The sanctuary fell silent. The elephants nearby stopped moving. Even the wind seemed to pause. Then Charlie released a deep, familiar rumble, the sound he used to make as a calf when he was content, when he felt safe. Emma had tears in her eyes. "I've never seen him do that with anyone," she said. "It's like he really remembers." Ryan nodded slowly, overwhelmed. "That's Charlie. My old friend is still in there." The crowd, now quietly watching from a distance, stood in awe. Some wept, others simply stared, moved beyond words. Cameras clicked, capturing the improbable reunion. Later, staff encouraged Ryan to try something familiar to strengthen the bond. He remembered a game they used to play. Ryan would hide behind a tree, and Charlie would always find him. In a quiet wooded area, they tried again. Charlie followed at a distance. Ryan crouched behind a massive baobab tree and peeked out. Charlie paused, his trunk swayed, searching, and then, just like before, he found him. It was different now, slower, more cautious, but it was real. Ryan's joy was tempered by the awareness that Charlie had changed. Years in the wild had sharpened his instincts. He often looked toward the open plains, always alert. Their bond was returning, but the years had built barriers. Emma watched from afar. "Maybe we should give him space," she suggested. "Just one more try," Ryan said. He reached into his pack and pulled out a small brass bell. It had once been Charlie's playtime signal. He rang it, and the sound echoed through the trees. Charlie froze. His ears widened. Then, slowly, he stepped forward. His trunk reached out, touched the bell, and lingered. Ryan stroked his trunk gently. "You remember this, don't you?" Then something incredible happened. Charlie knelt and lowered his head against Ryan's chest, the same way he used to do when seeking comfort as a calf. It was more than recognition. It was trust, vulnerability, love. But peace didn't last. A younger, aggressive bull elephant wandered into the area. Known for his dominance, he was irritated by Charlie's attention to a human. Charlie stepped in front of Ryan, his massive form shielding him. His ears flared, his body tense. A clear warning. Ryan stood frozen, overwhelmed. Charlie didn't move. The young bull hesitated, then turned away. The challenge was over. Charlie turned back and wrapped his trunk around Ryan's arm, gently, protectively. In that moment, the past and present merged. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light across the fields, Ryan whispered, "I came back for you, Charlie, and you waited for me." If this incredible reunion story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life animal stories that will move and inspire you.